Ever since old Joe supposedly became the president, he's turning everything that made America great into an embarrassment. And sadly, that now includes the U.S. military. You may have seen the clip of him outlining his top priorities as the new commander-in-chief, which include making sure that there are maternity flight suits for the pregnant women in the military, just in case, I don't know, I guess they want to go fly a mission over Syria or something. Of course, I mocked old Joe for his priorities, and Tucker Carlson did a segment on it too, because great minds think alike. But that didn't sit very well with the media, or as you'll see, the military.
Here's what Tucker Carlson, who has never himself served in uniform, maternity or otherwise, said on his show.
So we've got new hairstyles and maternity flight suits. Pregnant women are going to fight our wars. It's a mockery of the U.S. military. While China's military becomes more masculine as it's assembled the world's largest navy, our military needs to become, as Joe Biden says, more feminine, whatever feminine means anymore, since men and women no longer exist. The bottom line is it's out of control, and the Pentagon's going along with this. Again, this is a mockery of the U.S. military and its core mission, which is winning wars.
Of course, we expect CNN to obsess and fuss over Fox News, but several official U.S. Marine Twitter accounts also responded to Tucker by name, including this guy.
Drama TV. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what I call it. I'll apologize up front and tell you that I don't have cable news at home, I don't have it here in the office, and I don't watch a lot of drama TV. I understand some comments were made yesterday, and I watched the clip that Mr. Carlson produced as he referred to pregnant women in the military. I'll remind everyone that his opinion, which he has a right to, is based off of actually 0 days of service in the armed forces. Let me offer you my opinion.
Listen, sir, I'm sure you're glad that Obama repealed Don't Ask, Don't Tell, but we really don't need to hear about it. And things descended further into idiocracy when people started commenting on this guy's Jerry Nadler-esque physique. And then he got so defensive, he responded by posting some selfies of himself working out that appeared that they were taken about a decade ago. There's an old saying, it's not a military saying, but you still might have heard it, that a hit dog will holler. And what that means is, when somebody's accused of something, if they're extremely defensive about the accusation, that can actually be evidence that they're guilty, because it got under their skin, it really struck them to their core. And a normal person would have just ignored the trolls on Twitter. They certainly would have went and dug up a bunch of old photos of them lifting weights and proving that they really are tough, and then actually posted them as a response. Then a second official U.S. Marine account called out Tucker by name, and then the official verified U.S. Army counterintelligence page signal boosted another post about Tucker as well. Can you imagine if one of the U.S. military accounts called out Jim Acosta by name? The liberal media industrial complex would have had an absolute meltdown. The U.S. military is not supposed to get involved in partisan politics, let alone complain about the opinion of a cable news host. And so after the backlash started growing over the weekend, one of the Twitter accounts deleted the tweets, which is actually a violation of the Federal Records Act, because all communications from government entities, officials, employees are supposed to be preserved, just in case somebody needs to go back and analyze them in case there was any wrongdoing. Something that Hillary Clinton, of course, is very familiar with, but that's a whole other story. Tucker did respond, however, in true Tucker fashion.
Well, it was quite an experience yesterday, being the very first target in the Pentagon's new Operation Silence the Talk Show hosts. Friends called us in concern. Are you guys all right? And for a minute, we'll concede we were almost rattled. Then we realized if the woke generals treat us like they've treated the Taliban, we'll be fine. 20 years later, the Taliban are still here. Maybe we ought to promise the Pentagon that we'll get rid of traditional gender roles on this show, change the pronouns, defeat the patriarchy, and all that. Then they'd send us billions in unmarked $100 bills as a reward. They've certainly done that before.
Ouch. And while the social justice warriors, who are now apparently in control of the official United States Marines Twitter accounts, are upset at Tucker, Brian Stelter is especially upset.
Tucker Carlson is the new Donald Trump. Tucker has taken Trump's place as a right-wing leader, as an outrage generator, as a fire starter, and it's all happening on Fox, just like Trump's campaign did. I mean, think about all the ways these two men are similar. Every day, Carlson is throwing bombs, making online memes, offending millions of people, also delighting millions of others. tapping into white male rage and resentment, stoking distrust of big tech and the media, generally coarsening the discourse, never apologizing for anything, and setting the GOP's agenda. I mean, here's just some of what Tucker did in a single week this past week. He said pregnant service members are a mockery to the U.S. military and claimed the U.S. has a national masculinity crisis.
A masculinity crisis, huh? Well, you've obviously been demonstrating that, Brian. And under the Biden administration, I wouldn't be surprised if the U.S. military accounts start tweeting out things like, men can have periods too, or maybe they'll make the new uniforms pink to be more inclusive. If women want to serve in the military, that's great. I just don't think they should be on the battlefield. They belong in the kitchen. Lighten up, I couldn't resist. I just like triggering the feminists, but I mean, it's not a joke. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm 100% serious. You know that it's true. This is not a joke either. The Pentagon may reverse their new gender-neutral physical fitness testing for the U.S. Army because the new test has been scoring men and women on the same basis, the same standards, but more than half of the women are failing those tests. And back in 1997, Demi Moore starred in the film G.I. Jane, which tried to depict women as being equally qualified for the Navy SEALs, and after over 20 years of trying, one finally did. And don't even get me started on comparing the statistics between high school boy athletes and professional women athletes because, well, we don't need to embarrass them any further. Like the time those freshman boys beat the U.S. national women's soccer team. Yeah, we don't need to rub it in. Oh, and speaking of a hit dog hollering, Scott Adams, who's the guy behind the Dilbert comics, tweeted out that 20% of all news involves people in the news business criticizing others' work. And you'll never guess who decided to chime in the replies.
No, it does not.
Well, that settles it. It does. With old Joe being the new commander-in-chief, soon a U.S. Marine who identifies as gender non-binary will probably sue the Department of Defense for discrimination because he's not allowed to wear lipstick or nail polish. And no, that's not a joke. You know that it's coming. Of course, I detailed all this in my book, Liberalism Find a Cure, which came out a few years ago and is proven to be quite prophetic. And, oh, there's more to come. So you should definitely get it in paperback on Amazon.com before it gets banned. And as you know, Amazon has been banning books recently. And of course, there's going to be plenty more to be dumped down the memory hole. And of course, you can get the matching Liberalism Find a Cure t-shirt from my online store, which is available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie. And you can get 20% off of anything this week using the promo code DOOMED at the checkout, because this country is doomed if we don't stop this madness soon. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below, enter the promo code DOOMED at the checkout, save 20%, and check them out.